Hey everybody, welcome to the I've Got a Bad Feeling About This podcast. Again, my name is Corey,
I'm Robert.
and this week we're going to do things a little bit differently. We've gotten some feedback, and we've been working on new things. I mean, life gets busy. That's why this one's a little bit later than the other ones, but we're back. So we're going to do Star Wars news, and then we'll jump into the book.
Yep.
So, Robert, do you want to get us started on the Star Wars news? What's happening? Who got fired?
So,
I'm just kidding.
big spoiler alert. Mando season
spoiler
3, episode 1.
Yes.
That came out. New series of Mando.
Yes.
Finally, been waiting a while. It was okay. I mean, I thought it was a good setup episode.
It was a lot shorter. It was a lot shorter than we thought it was going to be.
It was like quick, but it said everything.
Yeah, it was a decent setup episode for what's going to happen this season. Kind of recapping what we saw in Mando 2.5 during Book of Boba Fett. For all those people that didn't watch that, they had to reset and be like, oh yeah, hey, remember how Grogu got taken by Luke, like, at the end of season 2?
Back.
Well, he's back. Yeah, I think...
I liked the Cape droids for Grief Karga.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Emma was like, yeah, I get it. Dude, honestly, let's talk about Grief for a second. Started from the bottom, and now he's here. High Magistrate Grief Karga.
Yeah. All right, gotta get...
Not just Magistrate, High Magistrate. Dude, he's giving me such, like, Lando vibes at this point. Like, it's so funny to, like, see where... Because I had started rewatching season 1, like, a month ago, just to try and start. But then I was like, I know what happens. And, like, seeing him in season 1 compared to High Magistrate Grief Karga is like, okay. And he's, like, sitting there and be like, yo, dude, I've got a house ready for you. You and your kid can retire. Like, I can set you up. I need a sheriff. You could be my sheriff. Like, let's do it.
No, but he's definitely a baller. And then we legit had, like, Pirates of the Caribbean pirates.
Oh my god. Dude, I loved that captain. I thought he looked cool. It was so totally like, I just forgot his name. Davy Jones. Like that sort of vibe. Like, part of the ship, part of the crew captain. Just a seaweed monster. It was lovely to see. And I'm wondering if we're ever going to see him again. He seemed like he was upset that Mando got away, so now I feel like he's going to be on the lookout for Mando.
Yeah, the space battle was cool. Some classic. He was like dipping in and out.
Classic asteroid battle. You got to have them. Okay, what are your thoughts on the N1? On his new modified N1 that he's flying around.
I like it.
But I missed the Razor Crest. I was thinking about that.
Yeah. So one thing that I was reading was, like, how is Homeboy supposed to live in this ship?
Right, it's not a home. It doesn't have like a shower or anything, a bathroom.
He's just straight chilling,
Yeah, because that ship's not necessarily made for hyperspace travel. I guess technically in episode 2, Padme's ship is being escorted by N1s, but
it's like a single journey kind of thing.
Right, like it's like he's living out of his car and he's going like cross country every single week.
Yeah.
That's rough. I bet he misses the Razor Crest. But yeah, I was just thinking about I like it. I like the N1, but I was just missing the Razor Crest. And then Let's see. Oh man, I just had a thought and it just left my brain.
I was gonna say thoughts on them bringing IG back.
I don't know. I kind of like it because I miss IG. I did like when they revived him and he went full like Terminator, like instantly, like reset default programming, must eliminate target. He was going after Grogu, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
See, like Homeboy went out with a bang, literally,
Yeah,
and
and
I
now
thought
it's kind
that.
of like you're just trying to bring him back for hold on to something.
And also, like he had a thermal detonator in his chest. How is there any of him left?
Right. Yeah, a lot of his body is very well maintained considering he got blowed up. Maybe they're just built different, you know? Like maybe he's made out of Beskar. I don't know what IG units are made out of.
Apparently, they're rare. So,
I think that they also are just kind of missing like some of that comedic relief, like that robotic, like all good Star Wars content has the droid comedic relief. You had
agreed.
R2 and C3PO in the first ones. You had
Chopper,
R2 and C3PO in the prequels. You had BB-8 in the sequels. You've got Chopper. You've got the B1s in the Clone
War,
Wars. Like all good. You've got the Gonk droid in Bad Batch. Like you need,
Donkey.
yeah, you need some sort of droid comedic relief. I think that's the sign of a good Star Wars project. So they don't have that. They're missing that in season two because the droids in season two were dark troopers and they weren't making jokes. You know, they were just stealing babies. But
But overall, looking forward to the rest of the season. We'll see how it goes.
yeah, they're just gonna follow the same process of here's the overarching goal, and then here's the little side quest that he has to do each week to accomplish that. I did see that Jon Favreau came out and said that like gave like a timeline of what was happening, and he said the first two seasons happened over multiple years, which makes
Hmm.
sense. Like you're not going to be able to rebuild the Razor Crest when the Jawa scrapped it in a month. Like you have to get parts, you have to put it back to they like re-welded the ship back together. That doesn't take a day.
Yeah.
And then that Grogu trained with Luke for 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been a while since they started their journey, you know? Because, like, space, what does Han say? Like, space travel is not like dust and crops.
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming that it's still a journey. Like, it's the difference between driving a car and flying an airplane travel wise, you know? Like hyperspace is, but you still have to travel however, like light years away. That takes time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you keep having these instances where you get caught up in some sort of Tatooine problem, and then that takes a while to deal with.
Always tattooing. Always tattooing.
Always, dude, it's a troublesome planet. I would never go there. Would never
No.
vacation there. 0 out of 10. Too much sand.
And then the other episode we got was Bad Batch.
We did get Bad Batch. What was this past one? So we've had. I'm like trying to think what
Zillow.
episode
Zillow
was.
Beast.
Oh yeah, the Zillow Beast. It was.
That was a throwback from the Clone Wars. Dave brought it back.
It was, and we had the Commandos.
Yeah,
Like
Scorch.
are the ones transporting them. Very much alien vibes. Like that's what they were going for. Like there's an alien on the ship and we can't see it and it's killing people. I didn't like very much like those movies. I liked it. I think I liked it. It was less of a what's the gang gonna get into this week and more of a serious like Oh crap! We have to take down a monster, which is fine.
I legit thought that they were gonna wipe out all those citizens.
I mean, we saw what that thing could do in the Clone Wars.
Well, I thought the commandos were just gonna just execute all the citizens who saw the Zillo Beast
Oh, you mean like after the episode when he says like,
when they
oh,
were.
how many they have to go contain it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got that vibe because the Empire does that. I mean, that happens.
But and then we got the big drop, Mount Tantus from Legends.
What's that,
You
bro?
know
You gotta
about that?
fill me in. No, what
It's
happened?
original. Faith actually filled me in on this because I didn't know about it either.
Dang,
But
we're bad.
it's
We're
like
bad Star Wars fans.
the original Thrawn series. It was one of Palpatine's storage facilities and one of his cloning facilities.
Oh,
It's where they made the Luke Skywalker clone.
Luke, the one with two U's. Luke. Um, do you think? Okay, here's my questions for you. Do you think Dave is going to try to connect Palpatine's clones from Rise of Skywalker through the Bad Batch or through Mando first?
Bad Batch.
Yeah, I'm getting the
Definitely bad.
vibes because the Bad Batch is dealing with like the Kaminoans and cloning. Like Mando, they only talked about it in season 1. They were like, "Hey, we need this." It was like a Camino commissioned thing. They needed the information. So, yeah, I feel like it's going to come from Bad Batch. And I really hope that the Palpatine clones are part Zillo Beast. I think that would be perfect. Indestructible skin, no problem.
That'd be wild. Unlimited power, right? Literally,
Unlimited.
just suck it up.
You can't stop them at that point. Unless you're all the Jedi.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, all the Jedi.
Who knew that to defeat the Zillo Beast, you just needed all the Jedi? Dumb. They wouldn't have. Dude, I just liked the throwback to the Clone Wars when Palpatine had his, like, evil, like, no, don't kill it. We're going to store it. And then we forgot. I completely forgot about the Zillo Beast.
I did too. I completely forgot.
But you know who didn't? Tech. Tech looked like he was having the best dream ever. He was like, fascinating. This is amazing. I haven't seen this thing in years. Bro, do you remember? This thing attacked Coruscant.
It did attack Coruscant.
I feel like they were like 2 steps away from calling in the Bad Batch to be like, yo, nothing's working on this thing. Send in the Boom Boom guys. Like, I don't know what else to do.
I read something that at the end of the episode they sent it to Rex. The
Hmm.
like the data.
Hmm.
They were like Rex probably just had flashbacks of like, oh, the Zillo Beast.
Yeah, he's just like triggered. He's like, I don't want to deal with this. He's like instantly deletes it. Just like, nope, I'm good. I remember what happened last time.
Left him on red.
Yep. Oops. Oh, I didn't see that, guys. My bad. I'm doing others. I'm growing out my beard.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, great. Star Wars news. I didn't know about the Mount. What is it?
Mount Tantus.
Mount Tantus. So that's from like original like Heir to the Jedi stuff
Uh-huh.
or Heir to the Empire.
The Empire.
Wow. So they're connecting Thrawn to other media stuff because we also got in Mando the whales,
That's
space
right.
whales.
Space whales.
So
He's coming.
that was
This
my.
guy.
I was always wondering about that because the problem wasn't that Ezra went somewhere random that he wouldn't be able to come back from. It's just that he went somewhere far away and then wouldn't necessarily have access to a hyperdrive to come back.
Yeah.
But we'll
Just
find
like
out
how
during Ahsoka
coming
or
up.
earlier. You never know. Because I
Well,
don't think Thrawn, according to this book, Thrawn is picked up by the Empire whenever they have full stormtroopers, not the beginning of the stormtrooper program. Where
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad Batch is currently in the beginning of the stormtrooper program. So yeah. Well, there we go. The Star Wars news. Anything else? Anything else? Any other interesting tidbits? We're getting closer and closer to Jedi Survivor.
April. 1 month.
1 month. Have you pre-ordered it yet?
No, I need to. I
No,
need to.
I need to as well. Other bills come first. Video games are not as important, but I will be playing it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I after that episode of Bad Batch with Scorch,
Mm-hmm.
I played Public Commando.
Yeah, I played through it about a year ago when it dropped. They dropped like like Jedi Knight Academy and stuff on the PlayStation, and I picked that up for like $4, and I played through it, and I was like, bro, I'm so glad that I did not play these types of games because it was an Xbox exclusive, and I was like, I am so bad at like the original Halo and stuff. Like, I'm not good at shooter games. Like, don't I? I'm just not that coordinated. And so I struggled, and I had to change the difficulty halfway through because I kept dying. Because me and my hubris was like, I'm good at video games. Psh, put it on the hardest setting. The first mission, I died like 100 times. And I was like, let me just get through this. And I finally changed the settings. And I think I changed it a second time too, because I was like, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. So, all right. Well, Star Wars news is done. What a great segment. And now we're going to talk about Thrawn.
Ron.
So, about a month ago, the assignment was to read chapters 11 through 15. Is it like I read it probably that first week, and then things just got busy, so I had to like re-skim through it today to remember what happened. It did
Me
not
too.
take me a month to read 5 chapters. I just want to establish that.
Hey, but you went to TU.
I
You
did go
can't
to
read.
I did go to TU, and I have since learned how to read since graduating from TU. TU did not teach me how to read. So yeah, let me pull up my notes really quickly just so I have something to look at. Do you want to go ahead and start with what are some of your thoughts about these chapters? We're starting. I feel
Getting
like
more.
we're starting to pick up.
Yeah, we're definitely getting more action, I would say. The
Yeah.
plot is, as they would say.
Right.
We get more. I don't know. You see a lot of the story arcs kind of blossoming and going off in the direction for the rest of the book.
Blossoming, but
Like,
then also crossing again.
yes.
Because they cross paths. So okay, let's start because we left off, and Arinda had just got basically spice thrown directly in her face.
Yep.
So she's
Bye.
reeling from that by Moff Gotti.
Yeah. Yeah, he just completely bamboozled her and was like, "What you gonna do about it? You're covered in spice. Go to the police. I dare
Right,
you."
you're gonna get arrested. So he basically just blackmails her, and he's like, "Don't." He's like, "You're gonna give Ranking this flash drive, not the one that he wants." And so she's like, "Well, I kind of don't have a choice," and she does it. Blackmail always prevails in books, in media, so there you go. What we have Thrawn. We're learning more about Thrawn's like tactics because he's talking about like how to catch Signy,
Yeah.
and they're like trying to like triangulate like based off of like what planets are close by, which ones want to Bana gas, that sort of thing. They're basically like narrowing it down to like pirates and insurgents, the two people that would want the product. And then we would discover that there's somebody who has the same kind of MO from the previous years under the alias of Night Swan. So we now learned that Signy is most likely Night Swan. So that's fun.
Yeah. Thrawn is putting together the pieces, and the vengeance begins.
Yes. And that Signy is not just this is a first time, he's like an established criminal or whatever you want to call him. So
Yeah.
Thrawn's not dealing with your average Joe.
Yeah. And then after that, we get back to Arinda, and she's stuck in a corner, so she follows through with Gotti, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gibbs, what's his name?
Ranking.
Ranking the fake or the wrong drive,
Right.
whatever. And homegirl gets fired the next day.
She gets booted. She got her apartment taken away, her car taken away. She got everything taken away. That was rough.
Oh yeah.
And then he was like, go back to, did he say,
Los-
he's like sending her to Lothal, right? He like got
yeah.
her a job on Lothal, and she's like not about it.
So she, got fired
Mm-hmm.
and goes to a help center, one that she used to kind of like run.
She
And
basically goes to the DMV.
and there's this person there who was just, being a jerk, and is like, I don't want to help. I hate my job. I hate my life.
Right.
And she basically weasels her way on in and says, I can do this job better. I will do it for free. Fire that person. So
Yeah, she said, no. She goes, let me do it for free. You don't have to pay me for the rest of the day and tell me that it's like not more efficient for me to be doing it. And the dude's like, yeah, no problem. I don't have to. I would love to not pay somebody to do a great job.
yeah. What else happens in this beginning? Oh, that's right. Bonto, Eli, he gets approached by somebody.
Oh yeah, he gets a job offer
A job
essentially.
offer other than Moff Gotti
Who?
because they are racist against aliens.
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah, I was like, why were they approaching him? Yeah, because they're now trying to take down Thrawn because
Yep.
Thrawn is like a substantial threat to what Gotti does, you know. And Eli, the homeboy that he is, no matter how many of the thoughts that we read in Eli's brain about how he also is not satisfied with his working conditions, he's like, no. Because they offered him to be a captain. Because they're like,
Yeah.
let me tell
Yeah.
you, you're never going to get promoted under Thrawn. Like, they won't do it if he's even actually submitting you for promotion. So they're like trying to plant seeds in his brain. But Eli's like, you know what? I don't even, at this point, going back to my regular supply officer job is not in the cards. Like, he like has like an epiphany of like, I'm never going to go back to my normal life. So he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to stick with my blue boy.
Then Thrawn comes out and is like, hey, guess what? I got promoted to captain.
What?
But
You would not believe.
Eli did not get promoted, funny enough.
Wait, he doesn't. What? No. He doesn't get promoted to captain yet.
Yeah, he
This
does.
at this one, I thought he only gets promoted to like first mate on the.
His rank is captain, but he doesn't have captain of his own ship yet.
Okay, that's where. Okay, yeah.
But now he is the rank of Captain Thrawn.
Yes, and then they get a new assignment as well aboard a new ship.
First officer aboard the Thunder Wasp.
Yeah, so he's the first mate. Which Thunder Wasp is a great name for a ship, by the way.
I like it a lot. What a name.
It's perfect. And then let's see. So the new captain of the Thunder Wasp, he's like a cool dude. He's like towards the end of his career, hasn't really ever done anything. They
Yeah.
go into like it's not a battle. But like this other Moff, who's very arrogant about his like position, is like just trying to like show off the Empire's strength to get this planet to do what they want. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of Volta droids come out, and they don't
And
know what to
like,
do.
you mean like thousands, right?
Yes, and so
Yeah.
they're like, so Thrawn technically does everything in this situation, but he does it like suggestively, so the captain makes that official order. But Thrawn's like, yo, let me use my intelligence. He'll get credit for it, for this great thing, and he'll get finally, he can go out in like a blaze of glory. Like, yo, that's that one dude that captained the Thunder Wasp and they did this great thing. It doesn't necessarily go to plan. They do achieve their goal, but the other Moff that is very, um, like, uh, what's it, the word, arrogant, did
Again,
not
yeah.
like any of that.
His plan was not working, and
No,
he this other captain to do something, and he said no because he trusted Thrawn over this guy.
right.
So
And so after the battle, after Thrawn and them essentially win the day, the other captain's like, "Bro, I'm gonna I should court martial you right now." Um, and then we find out that like the other captain, like the cool captain, the retiree one, pretty much gets the hammer dropped on him instead of Thrawn. Like Thrawn just gets court-martialed,
oh yeah, yeah,
but the other captain like gets like relieved of duty and like all this other stuff. So he gets like stripped of all of like he's like dishonorably retired.
yeah.
So that kind of sucks. Like Thrawn was just trying to do a good thing, and like again, it's another example of like Thrawn doing the right thing in our eyes, like with the Blood Crow crew, where he saved the crew instead of the gas, and then this time he like did the same kind of thing, but in the Empire's eyes and the people of power, so these other captains that are vying for their own systems, they're like, no, the gas is more important than these crew members. They're replaceable, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So Thrawn keeps making the moral choice, but it's not been the correct choice.
Which I mean, especially from these recent shows we've gotten, you really see how cruel the Empire is, right? Like
Yes.
they don't care at all. So I think it's interesting seeing it in this book how the Empire treats their own, you know,
Yeah.
men.
Well, and it establishes that the Empire, like when you're a part of the Empire, it's really just about your own personal gain. Like all of these like captains and admirals and stuff are just in it to get the next promotion. Like they're not in it to actually do the job. They just want to be propelled forward. So like in
Yeah,
like Bad Batch and stuff, we see the dudes like, oh, alter the document, like alter the report and all this other stuff where it's like, oh, okay. So the Empire has always been corrupted from the start.
yeah.
So
And thing to note is that this whole Vulture droid attack, right? Like Night Swan,
yes.
right through Thrawn's head. Like, who can actually pull this tactic off? Who is going to use Vulture droids of all people?
Right.
You
Clone War
know,
technology.
you're starting to see this kind of rivalry of,
Mm-hmm. Of
six
minds. Yeah.
of minds go at each other. Thrawn versus Night Swan. But, that was his first thought of, I know who this is. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the in this, but they were
Right.
just chilling, waiting to see what happened. Hey, maybe the Vulture droid to blow up the Empire. I don't know.
Right. And
But
then let's see. So after that, we jump back to Arinda. She's doing her DMV job. She's good at it. And then she goes to dinner with her friends from before. So like the Juhari or whatever her name is, and then the dude. They take her out to fancy dinner. basically the most expensive place in town, and then he offers her a job to work for his advocacy group. And essentially, what that would do would give her access again to the Coruscant elite, which is what she wants. She wants that foot in the door to be able to do that. And so she, of
Yeah.
course, accepts it. And then there's some weird sabotage that happens. She's like in an elevator, and she's like going down to her apartment, and the elevator doesn't stop on her floor and keeps going down. And like on Coruscant, the further down you go, the more like bad it gets.
They're going to the underworld, baby.
Right. And then she gets off the elevator. She basically gets threatened by some thugs, and she's running. And then her friend, like Johari or whatever, they show up, and she's like with a dude that she's been training at the dojo. Apparently, she works at a dojo. And they train like the Imperial Guards and stuff, special training that they need apparently. And then they come in and they kick the thugs' butts, and then she takes them out to dinner, saying that she will now take her up to learn some self-defense.
Yeah, which I mean makes sense because when we see in Rebels, Price got some moves.
She does have some moves in Rebels.
How to fight, but
she learned
it's
something.
Seeing like her character development from knowing what she started as and seeing how she gets to in Rebels,
right?
And seeing the tweet, right? I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, this is definitely young Arinda Price, and she's less cold. I would clap.
That's a good way to put it.
So far, we'll get there. But speaking of the dojo, that goes into the final chapter where we have Admiral Wolf Yularen doing some
He's
Colonel. No, he's always Admiral to me.
I agree. I know. I call him Admiral Yularen.
Doing some classic ISB Sherlock Holmesing, and they're trying to get some information. Is it information for Night Swan stuff? Because this is in the midst of Thrawn about to be court-martialed, so he's on Coruscant anyways. So they go to this dojo. They're wanting to like interrogate someone, but like not like interrogate them, but just like ask some questions. And they end up what?
And who do they run into?
They run into Arinda Price.
What? Who saw that coming?
Me.
So we really the second meeting of all of them, right? Because they first met in that party.
Yes.
In Coruscant, or during Empire Week or whatever it's called.
Yeah. And she remembers Thrawn. Like as soon as he walks in, she goes, "Oh, that's that blue guy."
That blue.
She's like, "What are y'all doing here?" And they're like, "We're just doing our job." But because everybody knows that Yularen is ISB, so no one's going to talk to him. So they just basically brought Thrawn along, because they were like finding out about the secret like guards being trained and stuff, and they're like, that's suspicious. So they went to like the closest dojo, which is this one, and so they were trying to get like the instructor's information. So Thrawn like has a stick battle with her, which is fun, and it goes to a draw. I think it goes to a draw. I don't think anybody wins. And then they discover, so the whole thing was just so they could observe the other people, and there was somebody else there that was like was very uneasy as soon as they walked in the door, and like all this other stuff, like they were very suspicious. They thought it was the instructor, but they gave the instructor the opportunity to accidentally kill Thrawn. If they wanted to get rid of Thrawn, they could accidentally do it during this sparring session. But then it turns out that another one of the students or whatever, or one of the teachers, was the one that was acting all suspicious. So now Yularen's going to investigate it more.
And then that leads us to our boy Eli again.
Poor Eli.
What news does he have? He is mad. He is really mad. Because, guess what? He didn't get promoted again. But who did get promoted? Ron.
Yeah, right
Now,
after Lauren says, "Yeah, we'll have to investigate this place some more." He goes, "Oh, and by the way, I got this before we went inside."
by the way, you get to control your own ship now, command your own ship
Right.
underwater.
So now Eli is he's still an ensign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's rough. But
Yeah.
Thrawn has said, so Thrawn, do you feel like Thrawn is at this point is pushing for him not to get promoted? Or do you think he's just not being promoted? Because Thrawn did say earlier in the chapters, "Hey man, I'm submitting you for promotion every time."
I don't think Thrawn would do that. I don't think he's purposefully holding Monto back.
Yeah.
He, I don't think he's like that. What do you think?
I think that he wants him to stay with him because I think Thrawn sees something in Eli that necessarily not even Eli sees in himself, and Thrawn likes him. And I
Oh,
would
yeah, I definitely think Thrawn wants him with him. That's for sure.
So I think the easiest way to make sure that Eli would stay with him is to keep Eli at the bottom of the totem pole, because if Eli gets promoted to captain or commander, he will be sent to his own ship, which means he's no longer with Thrawn.
It's a valid point.
You
It's a valid
know?
point.
So I don't think that Thrawn necessarily is doing it like out of malice, but I do think that there is something there where he's like at the very end of the recommendation, he's like, but I could really use him with me still. Also, the Emperor loves me, so you should probably do what I say. Send. And then they're like,
That's
okay, we won't promote him.
I definitely do see that happening. I don't think he's doing it on purpose, saying
Right.
don't promote this guy, but he's also not encouraging promoting him. You
Right. I
know,
think he's just submitting the base, like, this is what happened. This is this is my recommendation. Do with that information what you will. But he's not like hyping up his boy. Like, he's not like, this dude deserves to be a captain. We should be captains together. No, he's like, no, this is the job that he did. There you go.
yeah, I want him with me still.
Yeah.
I still need him as a translator.
So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, it is. If I was Eli, though, I can understand why he'd be mad. It's like,
Oh,
what, Thrawn's had 4 promotions now, and Eli has not had one.
yeah. Thrawn now even has his own ship, and Eli is just stuck as an ensign. So
Right. And it's like, I don't want to do this forever. But he also does. Like, there's something about the job that he also wants to stay with Thrawn. He got an offer to be a captain, and he said, no. He didn't want to say no, but he still said no. You know, he knew that accepting the job from Gaudi would not be as good as earning it himself.
yeah, I think there's something keeping him around. I mean, he is learning from Thrawn. We've seen that.
Right.
Thrawn.
And he's starting to, whenever they were having the ship battle, Eli was starting to have understand what Thrawn was going to do. Like, he knew why Thrawn was doing that, which is a good start. So maybe we'll see. Maybe in the next chapters we'll see them butt heads again, because they did kind of have like a butting heads moment in like chapter 13 or whatever, where Eli was like, "Dude, how are you not are you not sending a recommendation for me every time we do any of this stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I am." So,
Yeah,
but yeah. All right.
but
Any final thoughts on 11 through 15? We're starting to get into the meat of it. Now, Thrawn's got his own ship, so that means stuff's going to start happening for him. Arinda taking self-defense, and she's now connected back to the Coruscant elite, and
yeah,
Eli is
she's
still an ensign. Our three characters, it's like Thrawn, Arinda, and then Eli is still here, not doing anything substantial.
Yeah, she's Arinda's back in the game.
Yeah,
She flat, but she's right back up there. And then Vonto, yeah, I feel bad for the guy, but you know,
right. Which now
Thrawn,
Arinda has even more reason to like hate ranking. Like she hated him before because she made him buy like he made her sell her parents' mine, you know? But now it's like, bro, I'm gonna take you down because you fired me.
oh yeah,
And
and
Gotti. And Gotti. I'm
and
gonna take both of you down.
definitely Gotti. But
Yes.
Thrawn with his own ship, that is when I think we're gonna start really picking up because now he has no one to tell him no, right?
That's right,
Like
he's the final say. So that'll be
we
fun.
we get to see more of Thrawn in action.
So do you think he's gonna go full into chasing Night Swan at this point?
Oh, I think he's obsessed. I think he found a worthy adversary in terms of the art of war, and he wants to beat him.
I wonder how, like, because I know nothing about military, like, protocol. But, like, when he gets assigned a ship, does the Empire just send him, like, oh, hey, go circle around Tatooine for 6 months? You can do
Uh,
whatever you want while you circle around Tatooine, but you have to be at Tatooine. So it's like, are they allowed to just, like, can they drive their ship wherever they want to go and then come back? Or because I know
I bet.
they're going to get an area that's going to be like 6 planets, and they can just kind of mosey around.
Yeah, I think it's like patrol duty, and they just kind of go off and do what they want within that
Right.
zone.
If the Empire needs some help, like with insurgents or something, they might say, "Hey, any ships in the area, show up." But so he does kind of have free range, at least in his area, to hang out.
Yeah. Now, my question to you:
Uh-huh.
how many chapters do you think it will take for him to become Grand Admiral?
Grand Admiral, I'm
10 to
pretty
get.
sure it's not going to be till the end of the book.
Okay, what about Admiral?
Admiral, I think we got 5. I think either at the end of this next 5 section, like next 5 chapters, or the start of the next 5 after that. So like either 16 to 20, or so like towards the end of 20, or like 20, 21, 22 is when he would get the admiral status, because that's the next step, right? Because he's commander now. So I think the next one would be admiral.
I think so. Yeah,
Maybe there's like
and
a commandant.
then moved on up to an actual IFD and not just a little frigate class.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Because the ISDs are like, it's like tens of, like hundreds of thousands of people on board, right?
Oh yeah.
And then you have like TIE fighters and stuff like that. Like you have a whole bunch of stuff. So much more. So much fun. So yeah, what are your guesses? Admiral,
I,
and then I think Grand Admiral is definitely not till the end. But Admiral, I think 2021.
I agree with that. I don't. I think he'll be on this ship for a little bit and then do something and then get promoted as Thrawn does. Overachiever much.
All right. What's another one? How many more court martials do you think he's going to go through?
At least two. At least two.
Do you think they're going to get into, because I don't remember, do you think they're going to get into his TIE defender obsession? Like, is he going to like have the brainchild in this book?
Um, I feel like it's something he's been working on for a while. I mean, he has all his toys in his little, section area. I feel like TIE
You feel
Defender
like that's
with
kind of what he's kind of going for? Like the TIE defender is like an amalgamation of the the vulture droids and the buzz droids and like a one-man kind of wrecking crew kind of ship.
Hyperspace ring. I think
Yeah,
he has something there.
I could see that. Yeah, him like trying to like figure out how to put it all together, and then he kind of gets the pieces and pieces over time to create a TIE Defender.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, here's a what if for you, since this has nothing to do with the book. Which one do you think would have been more successful if the Emperor chose it over? So we know about the success of the Death Star, right? Do you think the Empire would have had more success if they chose Thrawn's TIE Defender program over the Death Star program?
Yes.
Because in my view, the Death Star became a beacon of oppression that then everybody was like, you know what? No, let's take the Empire down. This is the last straw. They blew up a planet.
And
TIE
the tie defense,
defenders just stabilize your defense
and
and
like
protection technically of the civilizations that you're protecting, you know? So
none of those ships like could stand up against a tie defender, like an X-wing.
right, you could
Tie
actually
defender.
go toe to toe. Because a TIE fighter doesn't have shields.
Exactly.
That
No
was the
shields.
thing with the defender, it has shields, you know, so you hit a TIE fighter with one shot from the Millennium Falcon that we see in episode 4, and it goes boom. The defender could take those. But he definitely is building the defender to send the defenders back into the unknown reaches to help the Chiss. So that's why he's building the defenders. But yeah, I think if they would have done the defenders, they would have had at least 10 more years of not great things happening because the Empire was very oppressive and stuff like that. But at least you won't have a huge rebellion happening against you, you know? Because I do think that the Death Star was a final straw that kind of finally brought them all together and made them all go, yeah, this is a problem that we need to take down now.
I agree with that. I do think that a tie defender would have been more, one, cheaper, and
That's true.
two, have multiple tie defenders. Imagine like a platoon of tie defenders. What are you gonna do against
You
that?
really don't even need you don't need a whole platoon of them. It's like, here's the one TIE Defender, you put the best pilot in the TIE Defender, and then you have the rest of the platoon and like whatever it's called for naval stuff, you know, TIE fighters, TIE interceptors, and TIE bombers with the TIE Defender, and he's leading the charge. It's kind of like the red leader is the one leading the charge. The other X-Wings just follow suit. But a TIE fighter, you're not really following, because like he gets hit one time, he blows up. But a TIE
Yeah.
defender can take some people down with it, you know? But yeah, that's just my what if moment for Star Wars for this week of would the Empire have been more successful if they wouldn't have put their funds into the Death Star and put it into the TIE Defender? I'm sure Thrawn would think so. I am excited. So when they do bring back Thrawn in Ahsoka, I really hope that he mentions something about, dude, they should have bought into the TIE Defender program.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how committed he will be to the Empire still, you know?
I
Like,
mean,
will
it's
he still have,
gone. He was never committed to the Empire.
but does he know that it's gone?
That's true. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna find out. I mean, it's technically not gone because like Moff Gideon and stuff, like they had like the remnant of the Empire was still doing stuff, and then that turns into the First Order. So I wonder if you remember whenever Force Awakens first came out, and everybody was like, because it was before Rebels came out, right, with Thrawn, and we saw his ending in Rebels, and people were like, dude, Thrawn definitely established the First Order, and it's like, yeah, that's a nice thought, but
I remember that theory. That was wild.
People also
If
thought that like Mace Windu was Finn's dad, and that Rey was, what was a good one? She was like Luke's daughter. No, she was Han's daughter.
yeah, and then people thought that Luke was Kylo Ren. Remember that?
I don't remember that. Like he was like Kylo Ren or like his dad.
Well, there is the picture and it had Kylo Ren on it, and Luke was confirmed. Everyone's like, is that guy Luke? Did Luke turn evil?
Oh, so they didn't. Yeah, and then they found out we don't see Luke till the very, very end. Oh my God, do you remember the people being like, "You see this rock formation right here? That's Mara Jade's. That's her tombstone."
I had to remember
It's
that.
like, bro, no, that's so funny. Uh, what a time to be back in 2015 and making theories about where the Star Wars sequels are going to go.
Hey, apparently they're going to start filming a new movie, and they're going to announce it at D23.
Why wouldn't they announce it at Celebration?
I don't know, because, I mean, D23 is for the investors, baby.
That's fair. But Celebration's for the actual people that are going to go watch it. But when is it going to, like, what era is it going to be? Old Republic?
I think they canceled the Old Republic one.
I did see that back to Star Wars news, I did see that they canceled or they shelved the Kevin Feige and the Patty Jenkins Star Wars projects,
Yep. Yep, it's shelved.
which I'm kind of okay with because I don't really want the market saturated with Star Wars like it got to at one point. Like having a movie come out every 2 years is fine. That's what the prequels were. But it was like every year. And so you had Force Awakens and then Rogue One and then Last Jedi and then Solo and then Rise of Skywalker. And it's just a lot back to back to back. It's great content wise, but like it also, I feel like that's why people did not like, as much as Rise of Skywalker has its issues, I think that's another reason why people did not like Rise of Skywalker. The same thing's happening with Marvel right now. It's just like when you release a new TV show every month and a new movie every 2 months, it's like, yo, dog. And you want me to watch all this because if I don't watch one episode, I'm going to miss out on what's going on? That's rough.
All burning out of the Marvel stuff and everything.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, on that burnout note, any other final thoughts on Star Wars in general? This book? Are you enjoying it
Oh,
again? You enjoying the reread?
yeah, it's been a while since I read it, so it's going well. Excited for the next chapters.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the next chapters are gonna pick up. And I think it has my favorite part in the next set of 5. Like my favorite part in this entire book is in the next set. And we'll talk about it next time on the I Have a Bad Feeling About This podcast.
And
And
outro.
out.